Well, because I think the West is disintegrating. It's the greatest civilization the world has ever produced, and I think it is dying. Take a look at what happened from the day, for example, my father was born in 1905. Western empires controlled the entire world, with the addition of Japan and Asia, 6 or 7 countries, America included, controlled the entire world. We went through 2 world wars that carried off something like 100 million people, most of them Western peoples. And as a consequence, I think all these Western nations, they all lost their empires. Almost all have lost their armies and navies. They have lost their basic fundamental Christian faith. So certainly Europe, the Pope says, is a desert of godlessness. And as they have lost that, their culture has begun to disintegrate and the people have begun to die. There's not a single Western nation whose native-born population has a birth rate that will enable it to stay in its present form through this century. Take a country like Italy. It's got a birth rate. Each new generation is 1/3 smaller than the last. Russia is going to lose 25 million people between now and 2050. It's already lost 10 million since independence, say, in 1990. Japan is going to lose 25 million people. You go down there, these are UN statistics. They're based on fertility records that go back when the nations began to die, basically to the mid-1970s. So I think you're going to see the West and its peoples shrink as a percentage of world population. All of them, I think, will be predominantly, in terms of their population by the end of this century, folks from the third world and from different cultures and civilizations. And the idea they're going to preserve Western culture and civilization, I think, is really putting hope over experience.
I'm going to try to recover. Welcome to the J.J. Carrell Show. That was the great historian, Pat Buchanan, the man that was way, way ahead of his time, like decades ahead. That video, I'm going to guess, was at least 20 years ago. Suicide of a Superpower, read that. The Death of the West, I read that. I almost read all of his books from quote, contemporary time, Pat Buchanan. And everything he talks about, everything he writes about has come true. That's always great when you in this world of social media and everything's captured now on video. It's interesting to go back or stumble across somebody and you go, wow, that person is really intelligent. I like to listen to some stuff that he did, and now you start clicking on his videos, and then you end up back in the 80s and 90s, and you're watching them and you're listening to them as if it's present day, and you're like, holy smokes. And you have to pause it because you're like, he predicted what's going to happen. He predicted exactly what's happening today. He just said the West is going to continue to shrink and shrink and shrink. And then we're going to import, legally and illegally, millions of third worlders. And we are under this spell, if you will, that somehow those people from the third world are going to come here and they're going to become integrated into our society, and they're going to champion our founding fathers, our forefathers. They're going to celebrate the people we hold up as heroes, historical heroes. They're going to celebrate our republic. They're going to celebrate our Christian values. They're going to celebrate and begin to own our cultural and societal norms. Do you know what kind of moron you have to be to believe that crap? But there are tens of millions, hundreds of millions of Americans that have believed that crap for decades. How do I know that? Because I lived it. I watched my mother and my father's generation, and they were not of that mindset. They were way ahead of their time, like Pat Buchanan. But their generations believed that diversity was somehow going to be the penicillin that's going to clean us out of all of our God-forbidden sins of slavery, as if no one else committed that sin in the world. And somehow that generation began, and then the Clintons and all those people began, the boomers began to, well, we need more diversity. The way that we're going to atone for our sins of slavery, well, we're going to bring in all the third world people and let them have everything that we built. Because why? Because everything we built was ill-gotten gains. Everything we built was from oppression, slavery. No, it wasn't. If that's true, then why are the other countries in the world beneath us economically, beneath us militarily, beneath us in technology? Why? Why are they not thriving? Because they had more slaves than we could ever dream of having. You see how fast the left's narrative of white supremacy and whites are bad and America sucks. You see how fast it just deteriorates? Because all you have to do is just have a little bit, just not a lot, just a little bit of common sense. Then you start asking the simple question. Well, why are the other nations in the globe a bunch of shitholes? And we're not. Well, you got shithole India. They literally have 100 million people crapping, defecating outside. That's their form of sanitation. They've been around, what, thousands of years? Let's take China. China still is killing people. They have slavery. They have camps where our companies are using all the slave labor, but we now we're buffered, right? Because of a third party supplying it. But why is China still in the dumps? Why is Russia still trying to get through there? Why is the whole continent of Africa a complete crap hole? They've been in existence for 1,000 years, thousands of years. America is less than 250 years old. We were dominating when we were about 150 years old. We maintained the domination for over a century now. And somehow I'm supposed to believe, as Pat Buchanan says, that all these cultures are the same? Well, of course they're not the same. We're living in it. We're living in the end state of the experiment. We live in the end state of the experiment right now. We've imported the third world by, this is like a side note. I still stand by 50 million illegal aliens. Some people, I would actually go up to 60 million because people are now showing me evidence and statistical data proof that we're getting closer to 60 million. Some people are now coming out with statistical data claiming it's 90 million. 50 million is your stage 4 cancer. 90 million, you're dead. We have you on life support. We're pumping stuff through your body, but you're not coming back, America. If it's 90 million, we're dead. 50 million, if you made me bet a wager, I hate to say this out loud, because I will fight to the death, my death. I will fight to my death for this country. But if you forced me right now to place a bet saying you have to go all in one way or the other, then I go in that the United States of America is dead or will die. This is just straight statistics. You can't have 50 million people and have another group of people saying it's 90 million. You can't have 50 million illegal aliens in our country reproducing up to 5 times, depending on almost 10 times if you're a Muslim, but up to 5 times per UN data than our American women are reproducing. Our population is dying, meaning we're not replenishing our population. The white population is going to be the minority in our country in less than 10 years. We are having third worlders, a la the Somalians, have stolen $18 billion. They're just started digging. 18 billion. They're just starting. You just had now, they came out with studies, research that the state of California has stolen on the low end, 75 billion. 75 billion. When you look at mosques are being built at record level and churches are declining. the hatred for Christianity, even though there is a resurgence because everyone can feel the destruction of America. But we are now coming into a time where this is a simple math problem. That's all it is. I'm going to give you an example. In Belgium, I believe it's Belgium, 80% of everyone under the age of 19 is a non-Belgian, meaning a third worlder from Africa. They're dead, and they know they're dead. They're dead country. It's gone. Last year, 94% of all births in Ireland were to non-Irish people. It's over. It's over. It's over faster than them because I think Ireland has 6 to 7 million people. So you're now talking almost 100% of the birth rate goes to illegal and legal immigrants. It's over. It's absolutely over. America, it's happening. You're living in the final days. And I know it sucks to hear me say it. And I don't care about all the blackpilling. I don't care about, well, this is doom and gloom. No, this is just effing reality, people. It's time that you wake up and see what is happening. In Minnesota, you have a chief of police that's Somalian. You have a mayor that bows down to Somalians, eats their food, dances with them. You have a congresswoman. You will have a senator very shortly that will be Somalian. How'd that happen? Well, they took over the population. They just now put their sights on, they're already doing it in Maine. They're replicating what they're doing in Minneapolis in the state of Maine. They have put their sights on the state of Wyoming. That's their mark is 2030 to take over Wyoming. And you go, well, that's absurd. No, it's brilliant. It's not absurd. Wyoming has 600,000 residents. 600,000. So there's a small town. I want to say it's to the east of Yellowstone, the Great Yellowstone National Park, called Cody, Wyoming. Cody, Wyoming, I've been there. It's a beautiful little Wyoming town. 15,000 people, just clean, simple, 97% white. When they move 10,000 Somalis into Cody, Wyoming, Cody, Wyoming will fall within less than a generation, about a decade. They will have people in their school boards. They'll have multiple people in their city council. They'll have a mayor, and your chief of police will be Somalian. And they will vote in a county-wide election and get the county sheriff will be Muslim Somalian as well. And you're done. You're done, Wyoming. Because they're going to reproduce at a rate that you can't even fathom. Within a decade, those 10,000 will be 80,000. They will spread to Cheyenne and Laramie, and it's gone. You're done. Both your senators will be Muslim. Your sole congresswoman, who is Miss Hagerman, that's going to be a senator, she'll lose her seat too. In Wyoming, that has what? Almost 90, high 90 percentile white. The rest is Native American. It's over. So if I'm being pushed with a gun to my head and I got to push all my chips, everything I own into the middle of the table and say, what's your bet? My bet, America dies. Will I die with her fighting? Absolutely. But at this trajectory, at this pace, and because it's not we fighting them, it is me and a few of us fighting our government, fighting our citizens, and fighting the third worlders. This isn't us versus them. This is not America trying to purge herself of all of this evil. No, there is a significant percentage of Americans that want this. that they believe America is a vile nation. And Pat Buchanan is absolutely correct. We are going to see the suicide of a superpower. We're witnessing our death in real time. I'm going to give you a great example. Just exhibit one of exhibit thousands that I have. Nick, if you can show me, this is LA. Los Angeles, 75 years ago. Not 750 years ago, 75 years ago. Tell me if you can remember this. I can. Don't tell me that we can't have that. Because we did have it. We had a culture that was 90 something percent, over 90% white 75 years ago, 10% black. Did you see any graffiti? Did you see any trash? I could take you from there, and I could take you to the outskirts in LA County, Bakersfield, Riverside, down to San Diego. You're going to see the same damn thing. You're going to see a culture and a society that is based in law and order, kindness, civility, and empathy. But what happened? Well, what happened is we infused ourselves of third worlders. Let me give you this. 75 years ago in LA. Remember, LA buffers right up on Tijuana, Mexico. Right there. I lived it for 24 years. Huge Mexican population. Hispanic, Mexican, whatever the hell you want to call it. Wonderful people. Loved it. I've incredible friends in the Border Patrol, families, incredible. In the 1950s, it was 80 to 85% white in LA. Hispanics were like 10%. Then you had a few blacks and some whatever it was, because it was a metropolitan city. So 97% was Hispanic and white. 1% black, 2% of, throw it in there, the United Nations, toss it into that basket. What does it look like today? What is the population of whites today in LA? I bet you have no idea. I bet you think you know, but you don't. It's 37%. 37% white. Don't tell me that that's a good thing. I'm not allowing my family to go down to LA. Are you out of your mind? Whenever I had to go to LA or had to, in my work, drive through that crap hole, there are places that you go and you got off an exit, say Soto Avenue, right off I think it was the 405. If you didn't know where you were, you thought you were driving around in the center of Tijuana. And that's how safe you felt too when you're driving around there. Your first thought is, how in God's name can I get off this street as fast as I effing can before I die? What does LA look like today? Let's take a look at clip number 3, Nick. Mexican flags, obviously. This is happening across LA. That's not just a snapshot. That's what LA is like. LA is a multicultural shithole. It's a third world shithole. You could watch the Chargers play last night and see the beautiful SoFi Stadium, absolutely gorgeous, and they take the far away look and show you the Pacific Ocean out there by Manhattan Beach and all that. I lived in those places. I know exactly what's going on. I was just in there in Inglewood, where SoFi is, at a like a skate park scooter shop, professional scooter shop for my son. Inglewood is a piece of trash. In order to get to the beach, you got to go through all kinds of ethnic enclaves that you don't want to stop in. It's a dump. There's trash and graffiti everywhere. Everything's overgrown. Everything is overpopulated. There are no white people left. Do you think those, if I would have went and I got down in that video 75 years ago and said, hey, hey, all you honkies walking around in your suits and you women walking around with no fear of being raped or assaulted. Let me show you that I have this thing called an iPhone. It's too hard to explain, but I get to show you videos. So all of you white people, this is what your street's going to look like in 75 years. They would call people to get me and put me in a mental hospital. There's no way, absolutely no way that Americans would believe that this is the country we're living in, or we would be living in. No way. 75 years ago is not 750 years ago. It's not 7,000 years ago, as other countries like the Middle East and Africa and Europe. No, we're talking about a nation with 250 years in it. I don't care about the Indians and everyone else that came before. We conquered you. Suck it up and deal with it that you're a conquered people. We didn't steal your land. We beat you. We killed you into submission and took it. And we need to stop being like sorry for it. Are we supposed to all stay in teepee huts and drink and be drunk all the time and be 500 pounds and obese? And I can say this very clearly because I'm part Native American. So you can go shove it. You want to look at a very sad group of people. You want to see what socialism and government control of your lives is. You want to see something that is grotesquely sad. Go look at the reservations or anywhere like Rapid City, maybe some towns in Montana, some towns in Wyoming, and watch the degradation of the Indian people, the Native American people, and see probably the saddest group of humans that you'll ever witness in your life. They're Native Americans. I think the average lifespan of a Native American man, I don't even think they hit 50. No, I'm not even 50. I remember living in South Dakota and asked actually an Indian, Native American woman. I said, hey, I got a question for you. Where the hell are all the men? I don't see any. Oh, it's because they're all dead. Excuse me? Yeah, they don't make it to 50. Drugs, alcohol, diabetes, dead. Our nation, because of our weaknesses intellectually, spiritually, have allowed people that hate America to begin to murder her. And we're living in it. We're living it in real time. And what happens? What happens when we go to war? And we're going to go to war. If you think that's never going to be another world war, or we're not going to be drug in because Israel and the Israeli government sucks us into some other bullshit war to fight for the Jews, if you don't think that's going to happen, we just bombed Iran. We just bombed Nigeria. Are you going to tell me that we're not going to be in a full-fledged war soon? I don't know if that's next year, 10 years, 50 years. Do you think the people that are here, that they're going to pick up arms and go to war with us as brothers in arms like we did in World War II? You honestly believe that? I'm going to paint you a scenario what's going to happen, and then I'm going to show you a video that's going to prove my point. We have millions of Muslims brought into our country. Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, Iran, Iraq. All the other stands and shitholes in the world we brought in. Why? Because we bombed their nations to smithereens, and they hate us. So when we go to war, they're not going to sign up for war. So what's going to happen is we're going to send all the white men, black men, Hispanic men, American men to war. And we're going to leave our women and children with tens of millions of Muslims that hate us. And what are they going to do? They're going to destroy America from within. They're going to rape and kill our women and our children. And they will take over America as we're fighting their brothers and their sisters and their mothers and their fathers over in the Middle East, in Africa, China. And they're going to devour the United States of America from within. And if you think that is not the mindset of these people, that you think that they're actually going to say, I'm an American and I'm going to pick up arms and I'm going to fight side by side with Americans, you have to be the dumbest jackass I have ever seen in my life. Nick, excuse me, can you please play number 4? And listen what this man says.
Now you have all these Islam men yelling Allah Akbar. I have a question for you guys. If America were to get in a war with a country like Iraq, who would you guys defend, America or Iraq?
We won't get in a war. That's not permissible for us. But at the same time,
Who would you defend first?
We would support our brothers in Iraq. That's the only way.
So you wouldn't defend America?
We would not defend America.
But you're American.
But at the same time, listen. At the same time, America is our country because we were born here. But in our Islamic book, we're not allowed to fight with people that are against our religion. So we just take up the jail time.
So you would
That's
not.
what we do.
So you would not defend America.
I would go to jail instead of fighting for America.
And who would you defend if we were to go to war against a country like Iraq again, America or Iraq?
America.
And should that be a troublesome conflict of interest for somebody to be here in America that would rather support another nation like Iraq?
Anybody who supports another nation needs to live in that nation. This is a Christian nation. A lot of the Constitution is based off of the Bible. And how far the country has fallen.
Oh, how far the country has fallen. That young man, not that patriot, the white man patriot, but the man of, quote, color from Islamic nation, that speaks perfect English. So we're not talking about straight off a boat. We're talking that kid, that young man was probably first generation, born here, birthright citizenship, whatever. There are millions of those men that will take a gun and stick it in your head and blow your head off because the Prophet Muhammad has jurisdiction over their lives, not the United States of America and the brothers and sisters of this country. If that does not make you pause, if you haven't been exposed to me or to people that speak like me and point out the obvious, like you're stuck in a liberal liberal ball and you're just you're stuck in there and you're never hearing anything, and all of a sudden this pops up into your algorithm and, oh my God, who is this big white guy talking about Muslims? Oh, he's probably some racist. No, I just played you a video of somebody that is Muslim that just exactly proved everything I just said. This is what I love about X and the internet and videos, is I don't have to sit here for an hour and talk and say, this is really what's happening. And you're like, man, I don't know if that's happening. The great thing about X and places like, not Google, not YouTube, but X and certain websites, is you can just pull up videos and say, all right, let's listen to this guy. This is what I said is happening. These are the people that I'm saying are going to kill you. And now let me prove it to you by, let's just listen to what they say. I'm really big on, I know this is a shocker in American culture, is nobody listens to anybody anymore. The enemy in America is telling you exactly what they're going to do. I don't have to guess. The one thing, and I've said this before, and people have gotten pissed when I say it, but I'm going to say it again. The Islamic jihadist men that are in our country are a formidable and honorable enemy. Are they savages? Do they believe in a prophet that is a pedophile and their religion makes no sense? Yeah, I agree with all that. But here's what's different than, say, Israeli government or, say, leftists. These guys tell us straight to our face, this is what I believe. This is what I'm going to do to you. And if these are the circumstances that are laid on me, this is what and how I'm going to answer and conduct myself in those situations. We hate you. We hate your Savior. And you are going to be submissive to us. And we are going to use your laws and your Constitution. And we're going to use those laws and constitutions to protect ourselves and to grow ourselves in your community. And we're going to take it over. That alone makes me at least stop and say, thank you. I respect you. I respect you because you're telling me exactly what you believe. Now, let me tell you what I believe. I believe that you are a individual and a group of individuals that have a IQ level that of a retarded monkey, a retarded rhinoceros, a retarded gazelle. And I don't think that I think your God's a pedophile. I think your prophet's a pedophile. I don't believe in anything you do. And if you think, Mohammed, if you think you're going to come into my country, I'm not talking about the stupid, gutless beta males and the stupid Karens and all the other mental patients. I'm talking about the hardcore Americans. Once you get done killing and raping all those people in the metropolitan areas, the New York cities, Austin, Phoenix, LA, San Francisco, then you start to find yourself pushing into America. We're going to systematically kill every one of you. And you are all going to beg for mercy, and we're going to give you none. And our nation is going to that. And if you do not believe that, you are an absolute abject fool. Because that is what's happened to America. Our, quote, leaders, our representatives sold the United States of America for 30 pieces of silver. And now we are living in the manifestation of treason. We're living in the final days of America. If we do not come out swinging, and I'm not talking coming out and maybe we do this. No, I'm talking about mass deportations. I'm talking about stripping people of their citizenship through denaturalization and removing every single person that is here illegally and under fraudulent terms, and they're gone. America will cease to exist and she will die. And I'm going to stick to that. I'm not gonna waver because I've already done my research. I've written 2 books about it. I did 2 documentaries. I've given thousands upon thousands and thousands of hours talking about this topic. I know exactly what I'm talking about. This is not some dude that just ended up with a podcast and I'm just shooting from the hip. This is some guy that lived it for 24 years on the border. I witnessed the treason within my own career. And then I witnessed at the end, the very last year of my career, the absolute treason of Joe Biden and the left and the anti-Americans. And now I'm witnessing everything that they said they were going to do, they accomplished. And I'm watching America die. It's hard to say. It's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to even hear myself say it. Europe is dead. What happens in Europe happens to America. It does not happen reverse. Americans think that they set the tone. We don't set the tone. Do we have the most power? Yes. Do we have the most influence? Yes. But it always, throughout my adult life, throughout historical of what I believe is true historical data, everything happens in Europe. And then we are the last vestige of humanity that has to suffer under that. That disease, whatever it is, good, bad, or indifferent, ends up in America. America is now in the throes of death. Many nations in the European Union are already dead. I want you to be prepared. How do you get prepared? There's so many different ways to get prepared. Spiritually, get right with God. Understand that He wins and ask for guidance and discernment. I think you need to be physically ready. Meaning, I'm not saying you have to go work out 4 hours a day, but you have to be physically ready. And maybe one of the other ways that has to happen, not maybe, it has to, and I use this, is you have to have a way to defend yourself. You have to have generators, sat phones for communication, Starlinks in order to get internet to know what the hell's going on. Well, how have I prepared myself? Is I use sat123.com. They are a sponsor for me, a great sponsor. I use multitude of their products. I have a sat phone. My family has a sat phone. My family has ballistic backpacks. My son goes to school every day with a ballistic backpack. We have a generator with solar panels. I love this company because I see an absolute need as an American, more specific as a father and a husband of a family, that my family needs to be prepared. And my way of being prepared is using sat123.com. Go to sat123.com/JJ. Just do me a favor. Just go on the website. That's it. I'm not telling you go buy anything. Go on the website and ask yourself, damn, do I need that? Do I need that? Yeah, maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I know I do. I'm going to be prepared. And if nothing happens and I die a peaceful death and nothing happens, thank God nothing happened. But when something does happen, thank God I'm prepared. sat123.com/JJ. Another way for you to support me is go to my website, jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.com, or to my Substack, jjcarrell.substack.com. Spread the word. That's it. You want to be a paid subscriber? Great. If not, spread the word. I love it. This show's growing leaps and bounds every week, even though I'm being suppressed on all the socials and platforms, still growing. jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.substack.com. There is a guy named Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley is becoming one of the great investigative journalists. I think he's 27 years old. I could be wrong. May not be that old. He goes around and he literally just flies wherever things are happening in America. He just goes and reports. I just showed you in Dearborn, Michigan. Now he's in Minnesota. And I know if you have been following the Minnesota fraud at all, this guy's name is popping up everywhere. Donald Trump's tweeting him. Elon Musk is retweeting him. JD Vance is talking about him. He has a video out that's 42 minutes where he went to multitude of daycare sites and healthcare sites, and they're all dummy shell buildings. And he discovered within an hour $100 million of fraud. Where is everybody? Where's CBS, 60 Minutes, NBC? Where are they? Where's all the investigative journalists? Well, they don't want to touch this because it's people of color that come from a sub-Saharan nation in Africa where the average IQ is 68, 70s mental retardation, and they stole $18 billion. Play this and just get you a sample of what Nick Shirley has uncovered.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. If you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working. Midday, children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing. And like I said, they literally spelled the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
Almost $2 million for 99 kids. And no one checked. I dare you to go start building an addition to your house. Like, it could be beautiful. Same paint, same architecture, everything. Go do it without getting a license, a permit. Watch them tell you to tear it down. But you get a permit for $2 million for 99 kids, and nobody even goes there. And even the normal investigator would go up and go, the word learning's misspelled. We have a problem. No. Nick Shirley goes into a building, just one building in Minneapolis. There are 14 healthcare businesses, 14, and they won't let them in. One building. Nick, can you play this and just stop it right at 2 minutes for me, please? It's going to be the one where it's Nick. Yep. So Nick Shirley goes into one building. That's going to be number 6, Nick. So he's going to go into a building and he's going to literally just start counting, going down the list. Like when you go in a building, you start going down the names on the business placard. It's 14 of them. There's no businesses. He went to several of these daycares and these healthcare businesses, and women in burqas were literally holding on the door and not allowing him or anyone to come in. It's a business. Nick, I don't know if you're ready. If you can play number 6, that'd be great. We'll stop at 2 minutes.
A list of all of the healthcare companies, loads of them right here. We want healthcare. Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here. No. Why can't I get healthcare here? No. Wait. Warning: you are under video surveillance. No trespassing. Security armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here, another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room of 7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company, Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
No?
Sorry.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers, and they actually took down our information to give us a rate.
However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that gentlemen matching your description were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So
He's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just
You guys
checking.
know, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening inside this building. No one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare.
14. And what happens? The Somalis call and get the white man or two white men kicked out. Could you imagine going to a business and they're saying, nope, sorry. When's the last time you went to a business of any type and they said, sorry, can't help you, get out? Won't open the door. Well, that's a front. Even the cartels, the Mexican and Sinaloa and Venezuelan and Colombian drug cartels, even they run, quote, legitimate businesses up front. Barbershops, ice facilities, small grocery stores, restaurants, they're still running a business. They don't even try to, they try to hide it. The Somalis don't. They're just like, screw you. We're going to take all your money. Now get the hell out. We called the police. The police are gutless too. The state of policing today is so embarrassing. That's a whole nother episode. Absolutely embarrassing. But who's allowing this to happen? Tim Walz is allowing it to happen. Ilhan Omar, the Attorney General Ellison, and this woman called Peggy Flanagan. And I'm going to show you, she's the lieutenant governor, and she's the front runner for the governor in Senate race in 2026. Lieutenant governor. And I want you to watch this quick video in number 7. And I want you to see why I say our culture is being destroyed and taken over. She's in the middle. Yes, she's a white woman. Yes, she's a lieutenant governor. And yes, she's wearing a dirty, dirty rag over her head. Why? Because she has to conform to their culture. They don't have to conform to ours. Go ahead and play this, please, Nick.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Peggy Flanagan. I am the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, and I'm really honored and humbled to be here with all of you today. I am incredibly clear that the Somali community is part of the fabric of the state of Minnesota. I think about my friendship with Nimco. We've been friends for almost 25 years. And when I think of being part of Minnesota and growing up here, the Somali community has
All right,
always
Nick, I
been a
can't take
part
it.
of my.
I just can't take it anymore. There is a large group of Americans that are white, middle-aged white women we call Karens. They are destroying our country. Absolutely. It's all about feelings and social credits. And she is a disgusting human being. I'm going to show you, just if you pull up number 8, just so you know who this woman is. If you can pull up clip number 8, this is just, yep, that's her. That's her in the left, the middle, and the one that says protect trans by slitting their throats of people that don't want trans kids. This Karen, this abomination, is going to be the senator of the great state of Minnesota. Does Pat Buchanan's words at the beginning of this episode, are they becoming more real to you? Are you beginning to understand why I said I would go all in that America's going to die? This is not hyperbole. This is just the truth. Will I fight to kill everybody that I have to ensure America stays America? Yes, I will. And I don't care how that sounds to you liberal crazies or any of the congressmen that are going to grab clips of this when I go and testify in front of Congress again, whatever. I will die for my country. And that day is closer than anybody has any idea right now. One thing that I do know is that after I get done these shows, I have to lay down because I'm exhausted watching this crap, putting this crap together. And you just get exhausted. You get overwhelmed, then you get hopeless. And that's when I reach out for my pillow. I don't care if this sounds like a shameless plug, because I use the My Pillows. My house, every bedroom, every bed has multiple My Pillows on it. They have all My Pillow sheets. We have My Pillow towels, slippers, robes. We have a My Pillow store in my house. It's the new year. Go get yourself something nice, something to sleep on, something that will let you rest. Go to mypillow.com, promo code, use JJ, get a great discount. Promo code JJ, go to mypillow.com. I have this throughout my house. Again, nothing I promote, everything I promote, I should say, I use. It's in my house. If you walked in my house right now, you'd say, I want to see those pillows. All right, come on. Wife's got like 60 on her bed on her side, and I got 2. mypillow.com, promo code JJ. We've talked about this before. Our recourse for our grievances, we have no avenue. We can't vote our way out of it because our elections are rotten to the core. We can't legislate our way out of it because the people that hold positions of authority and power have already shown that they're corrupt and they're compromised. We can't go to court and get a judicial ruling that's based on constitutional values and principles. And I'm going to show you a great example of this. I'm going to show you video number 9, Nick. And let me set this up real quick. 2 people, I think it was a husband and wife, I could be wrong, but husband and wife, Somali immigrants, stole $7 million. Unanimous guilty verdict. I think it took like an hour, something like that, just went through procedural stuff, and everyone's like, well, hell yeah, they're guilty. Guilty. A left-wing judge, a Karen judge, overruled the jury verdict and let them go free. There is no law and order, and that's why we are going to lose our country, is we have people of DEI abilities in positions of authority and power. Go ahead and play this, please, Nick.
Big reversal in a $7.2 million fraud case in Hennepin County. The judge has thrown out the jury's guilty verdict.
This wasn't some technical hiccup. These fraudsters, Abdelfattah Yusuf and Lul Ahmed, were convicted on 6 counts of charges, months of evidence, a jury that deliberated for hours, all erased in one ruling.
Yusuf and his wife, Lul Ahmed, were charged with stealing $7.2 million of taxpayer money through Medicaid overbilling in a personal care assistant or PCA scam. The couple allegedly spent tens of thousands of the fraud money.
And here's the part that rattled people inside the system. The judge didn't say the fraud didn't happen. She said the state couldn't prove who was responsible, which raised this question on everyone's minds. If a case this obvious can't hold, what happens to the rest? Because this ruling hit while Minnesota is already buried under billion-dollar fraud scandals, overseas money trails, and growing federal probes into how taxpayer money keeps disappearing. And here's the twist most people missed. Once that verdict collapsed, the issue stopped being one defendant. It became about whether Minnesota's system can still enforce fraud at all, or whether the feds are stepping in because the state no longer can. And that's where this story really starts. Here's why this case collapsing came out of nowhere and was shocking for most people. This wasn't a messy jury split or a hung panel. It was a unanimous guilty verdict, and that's because all the facts were on the prosecution's side. The fraudulent couple had a home healthcare business that barely existed, and billing Minnesota's Medicaid program for services that either weren't documented or never happened at all. But that wasn't all.
The jury heard evidence that he ran his home health care company, Promise Health, out of a mailbox at a Central Avenue address where multiple other home health care companies were supposedly located.
And what's more, they followed the money and found a whole lot of it in Abdul Fattah's accounts. Over $1 million moved from the business into personal accounts. Nearly $400,000 withdrawn in cash. You might be thinking, what could they have possibly needed that much money for? Well, according to prosecutors, they splurged it on luxury purchases, mansions, luxury vacations, a lifestyle that stood out immediately because it didn't exactly line up with their paycheck.
The files documenting spending sprees in which defendants, get this, took taxpayer money that was obviously meant to feed hungry kids during the pandemic, and instead they used it to buy fancy cars, property, jewelry.
And when jurors heard all that evidence, it only took them a few hours to reach a verdict. The jury foreperson later said this about the case.
It was not a difficult decision whatsoever. The deliberation took probably 4 hours at most, based off of the state's evidence that was presented.
And they were released. Released. They're free. They're walking the streets right now. Why? Because the people that are in positions of authority and power are aligned with these people. They're corrupt. They're taking kickbacks. Do you know the only people that are suffering are us, the suckers, the American citizens? We're the suckers. We're dying. When our country dies, do you think they're going to shed a tear, any of those Somalis? Any of the third worlders? The 50 to 90 million illegal aliens that are in our country? I want to drive home this point of how we're dying. And this is a 30-second clip from Elon Musk talking to Joe Rogan. This is the wealthiest man in the world, not in America, in the world. Some say he'll be our first trillionaire if he's not already. Has anything he wants whenever he wants. There is nothing. Money is not an object. He has around-the-clock security. But he knows that the fraud, the corruption is so deep, it is so embedded, that it is so entrenched, it's never going to allow itself to be ripped out. They will come and kill everyone that is pointing it out. Even so much so, the wealthiest man in the world is afraid of being assassinated and killed for it. Listen to Elon Musk, and this absolutely drives home my point that I've been saying for this last hour.
More than insider trading.
The way they're acquiring wealth.
Correct.
And what other methods?
I mean, this is really going to get me assassinated. It's like I'm not lengthening my lifespan by explaining this stuff. I actually have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff, because it's going to get me killed. It's a lot more
because it's going to get him killed. Think about that statement. This is a man that got all of his geeks on Doge and dove in and ran their algorithms, and they were shocked. We have not misspent $38 trillion. We're not an overspending nation. We're not a glutton nation. We're not incompetent nation. We've just allowed the most vile people in our society to steal $38 trillion. In the process of stealing $38 trillion, they enabled the suicide of the United States of America to commence. You don't kill a giant beast like the United States of America overnight. It will take time. And unfortunately, all the time now is on their side. because our lifespan, our breaths as a nation, we can count. And we're losing some every single day as America begins the dying process.